Forming in mid-season 2, Orbit was a team that showed a lot of promise. They managed to take games off of some of the more established teams and barely lost out on going to regionals. The roster was soon bought by Quantic Gaming, and things were still looking good. Despite not making it to IPL 5, they only came third to CLG and Dignitas in the qualifiers, two of the top 3 North American teams. On top of that, they were having mild success in the TSM Invitationals. However, Quantic Gaming ran out of funding and soon had to disband entirely. Deciding to stick together under the name Cloud9, the roster of Niantanso, Hai, Yazuki, Wild Turtle, and Lemon Nation competed in the LCS qualifiers. After losing to Azure Gaming and Team Marn, they got kicked out in the group stages, which was another tragic loss for them. After the loss, the team contemplated disbanding, and although they did not, Niantanso and Yazuki decided to leave the team.
They realise they're losing it, they're trying to get back. It's not going to be enough. Thank you, D. They're losing the Nexus turrets now. You can see the Nexus turret is going to go down. That's one. Can they get a second? Here comes Echo. Echo back in time. They're going to defend it. They get the wall off in time. That's going to be the curse of the sad mommy. The turret hitting on them as well. So 2 members are defending it. They're still pushing. Meanwhile, Marn managed to take down the Nexus turret in the Cloud9 base. That's a kill. They're on towards the Nexus turret. Team Marn are going to take this. I do not believe the base race has happened. Fantastic performance. Cloud9 have just about got back in time, but it's 11-10. Team Marn beat Cloud9.
Disaster hit again when TSM benched their 80 carry Chaox and picked up Wild Turtle, forcing Cloud9 to find a replacement 80 carry in time for summer promotion. Luckily for them, Dignitas had just disbanded their B team, so they were able to pick up Sneaky Castro, now just called Sneaky. They were re-picked up by Quantic in time for summer promotion, and had received praise from Monte Cristo, citing them as the best team in North America, despite them never actually playing in the LCS. They won a perfect 5-0 though, completely outclassing their opponent's Team Astropoke and former LCS team Complexity. After this, former TSM manager Jack Etienne bought the team, and they retook the name Cloud9. It is worth noting that at this point they also took on Alex Penn as an analyst, one of, if not the first, Western team to employ someone for that role. They blew on to the North American scene, only dropping 3 games in their first 28-game season, 2 to Vulcan and 1 to CLG early on. They followed up that performance by not dropping a single game at the North American playoffs and being the first team to dethrone Team Solomid as North American champions. It is worth noting that they did not have to face Vulcan, the only team to have success against them in the regular season.
Oh, big, he still hasn't spent that 2,000 gold. They're trying to do this without scaling that much money in their pocket. Meteos goes in, the fear.
Can I get him?
The drain tether was not there, shut down. Going on, Zania's looks good, but like we
double
said,
kill!
Whoa,
Are you
no
kidding
way.
me?
Going into Worlds, expectations were high for this team, despite being newcomers to the LCS. Soon after Worlds began, they were branded as North America's last hope. They drew Fnatic, the European champions, as their first opponent in the tournament. Little did anyone know this would kick off an international rivalry. The series went 2-1 in favor of Fnatic, and many blamed Cloud9's weak laning and Meteos' farm-heavy, selfish playstyle. However, more than anything, Fnatic took advantage of Hai's small champion pool. It was clear that despite being the best in North America, Cloud9 was just not a world-class team yet, and they had left the World Championships with just 3 games played against 1 team.
Down, Hemo playing on towards Cyanide, tries to get the kill. Yellowstar does go down, that's the second kill of the game for Cloud9, but it is going to be another triple for Peke. Here comes the Quadra, they're going to give it to him, yes they are. It is Peke dominating 11-0-7. Fnatic are going to go through to the semi-finals, taking down the North American champions, Cloud9.
It was a great series. This game, though, was completely one-sided for Fnatic.
There is one, Meteos. He is the only one who brought something new to League for me. He just told to his team that, guys, the jungle is mine, mid laner, get out of my blue. His way of playing is interesting.
In the off-season, there were 2 tournaments in which Cloud9 competed, IEM Cologne and the Battle of the Atlantic. IEM Cologne passed with a revitalized Gambit, 2-0ing them before they got to try for their revenge versus Fnatic. Although losing in their first game, They did lose to the winners and looked like the second best team there in the process. At the Battle of the Atlantic, it was their chance to prove it. As every team was pitted against their equal from the opposite LCS, Cloud9 was up against Fnatic again. This time, however, they 2-0'd them. Interestingly enough, High picked Kassadin and Kha'Zix, the two champions he had suffered defeat from before. Most people believed that Fnatic hadn't tried that tournament, and it would be up to Cloud9 to prove they had actually gotten better as a team.
North America in the Battle of the Atlantic.
Congratulations to Cloud9. Not only do they bring it home for North America in the Battle of the Atlantic, but they also get revenge for their loss at Worlds.
Despite downplaying themselves going into the 2014 season and other teams bringing in foreign talent, Cloud9 managed to accumulate a 24-4 record in their second LCS split. They were second to the reinvented TSM for most of the split, but managed to pull ahead in the end. This might have been largely due to the fact that during the split, they were invited to play in the IEM World Championships in Katowice, where they ended up in a group with Gambit, the Chinese team World Elite, and the Taiwanese team the Taipei Assassins. The group stages were played as a double elimination best-of-1 mini bracket, where Cloud9 got out in the winners bracket, after beating World Elite and TPA back-to-back. The hype was on, as this was the first North American team that had been successful in an international tournament in a very long time. They ended up against rivals Fnatic again in the knockout stages, and this Fnatic was ready for revenge from Battle of the Atlantic. The series went 2-1 for Fnatic again, but the series was much better and closer than any of the previous ones. As the North American Spring Playoffs approached, nobody knew what to expect. However, Cloud9 performed as usual, and went another playoffs without dropping a game, 5-0ing Curse and Team Solo Mid, claiming their second North American title and earning a trip to the Paris All-Stars tournament.
The Nexus, and they're the North American champions.
Cloud9, 15-1. They won the first game 18-1. And their overall kill death in this series is ridiculous. They only died 6 times this entire series.
6 deaths total in a best-of-5 against Team Solo Mid. These teams, these players, putting in everything out there. But Cloud9, I gotta say, representing North America at the All-Star Invitational in Paris.
Devastating news came about that High would be unable to attend this tournament due to a collapsed lung, and they decided to acquire CLG's mid laner Link for the tournament, as at the time he was CLG's shot caller and could best fill High's role in the team. However, going into it, no one had high expectations, as High was a very important part of the team's playstyle. Despite that, All-Stars was their best international showing yet, as they beat Fnatic, OMG, and TPA in the group stages, only dropping a game to SKTT1K, last year's world champions. They left the groups in second place, above China and Europe. However, that high ended quickly, as OMG, the Chinese team, dismantled them in the knockout stages. High believes, however, that they could have won that game had he been there.
The shockwave. Sun may eventually fall here, or maybe not, as they completely control our balls. Nexus turrets are down. The Nexus itself is going to be focused, and OMG get themselves into the finals here at the All-Star Invitational.
The summer split of the LCS came, and it had the most inconsistent looking Cloud9 yet, after being reunited with High. They were losing against bottom 4 teams, but held a winning record against the top teams, and it wasn't until the end of the split that they were able to shake that inconsistency and barely retake the #1 seed going into playoffs.
A third kill to come in. Lemon Nation's going to pick up a retribution kill there, but the kill is there, and Robert X. 5 members in Complexity. A huge damage on that hook. There's the Nexus turret. Can you believe it? Complexity going to take down Cloud9 on day 3.
Cloud9 Cloud9's second North American Summer Regionals came, with them looking as good as ever, 3-0ing a Team Curse who had looked on fire. However, their dreams ran short when TSM managed to defeat them for the first time in a 3-2 brawl for first place. Despite the loss, their fans still believed they were North America's best chance at Worlds.
Coming up with focus. Wow, Turtle! Turtle on the triple, Turtle on the quadra, Medios on the outside, a second quadra in the playoffs for Turtle.
And even with the kills, even because the fight was so close to Cloud9's base, this could be the end of the series.
In the 14 World Championships, Cloud9 was placed in the final group, along with the European first seed Alliance, the Korean third seed Najin Whiteshield, and the Brazilian wildcard team Kaboom Esports. Cloud9 managed to be the first North American team in years to take a game off of a Korean team, and then got lucky when Alliance dropped a game to Kaboom. This secured them a ticket out of groups, 4 wins to 2 losses. Although, they lost to Najin Whiteshield in the tiebreaker game, and that meant that they were up against Samsung Blue in the quarterfinals. Cloud9 came to the quarterfinals to win, proving that in Game 1. However, after that, Samsung Blue put their game faces on. Despite some bright moments and flashy rotations from Cloud9, Blue took the rest of the series 3-1, and that meant another quarterfinals loss for Cloud9.
Go around and basically do it better this time of Cloud9. They're going to go for Dane. They're going to fly into the king. Dane's going to go for Sneaky. But they've got him. They've killed Dane. They're going to try and push back. Onto death. Death goes down. Acorn's going to fall as well. 45 seconds. 4 timers. What can Cloud9 do?
This is reminiscent of Kaboom getting picks on the carries. They got the 2 main carries shoving up mid. They're going to go for this inhibitor. They have to get the inhibitor down, though. Only a couple minutes to work with. They can do it.
Clever work from Spirit. He's going to try and cut the line off, but this is going to be wanting him down. And Cloud9, they may try and keep pushing.
For the win.
Death timers. It's 20 seconds still. They have to go for the Nexus turrets. They've got to push in there. Lemonation tanking it up. Here comes Spirit. Forget it. Try and get the Nexus turret.
Oh, they got him.
Spirit's taking the damage. Lemonation.
10 seconds.
The turret. Gonna get one down. Spirit's taking so low. They're gonna keep on this
5.
one. They're gonna go, Joe.
Go for it. He's going to go low.
2.
Doing a jump. Go for the
What? They're up.
They're up. They're going to dive in. The Nexus is allowed. They've won it. They've cleared it. Samsung Blue.
Going into the 2015 season, fans still expect that with team roster changes, Cloud9 will look the strongest right off the bat, since High has said that they will not be swapping out any players. Cloud9 is a very consistent team with world-class shot calling. High understands the game probably better than anyone else in the West, and if he could learn to play at a mechanically great level while still retaining his world-class shot calling, it could catapult C9 into 2015 success. Cloud9 has been transformed from a team with rough upbringing who barely missed the mark a couple of times in the past, into an international threat.